Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Joanne Smedley, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1, Kim Owen. We warmly welcome the family of Sergeant Horace Stewart Winburn, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in the singing of the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage announce Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, announce Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Sergeant Horace Stewart Winburn. Horace Winburn was born on the 19th of September 1896, the third son of Frederick and Mary Winburn of Methina in Tasmania. There is some indication that Horace may have been raised from a young age by his grandmother, Elizabeth Atwater. He grew up in the Longford district, where he attended the local state school. Horace's mother died in 1903 when he was 7 years old, and his father when he was 17. Horace Winburn went on to attend Philip Smith Training College in Hobart and became a school teacher at the East Launceston Practising School. Winburn enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in October 1915. In the new year, he was posted to the newly raised 40th Battalion and underwent a period of training in Australia. The 40th Battalion did not leave for active service overseas until July 1916, when Winburn and his comrades sailed for England on the troop ship Berrima. Winburn reached the battlefields of the Western Front in November 1916, joining the rest of the 40th Battalion as it rotated in and out of the front line during the bitterly cold winter. He proved an able soldier and received regular promotions. Winburn's health suffered in the cold, and he was hospitalised once in February with illness and in March with a septic foot, probably a result of trench foot. After treatment, he rejoined his battalion in late March 1917. On the 12th of May 1917, the 40th Battalion was holding the front line near the Belgian town of Ploegstert. At some point during the day, Winburn was wounded, probably during the regular German artillery bombardments that hit the battalion's sector of the line. But he managed to remain on duty, and less than a month later was promoted to sergeant. The day after his promotion, Winburn took part in the Battle of Messines. His family later reported in the newspaper that Winburn was mentioned in dispatches for his gallant conduct and conspicuously good work during the Messines offensive. On the 12th of October 1917, the 40th Battalion took part in the operation to capture the Belgian town of Passchendaele. The men moved into position through heavy mud and attacked under fire. Though ground was captured, it could not be held. On the evening of the 13th of October, the order to retire was finally received, and Sergeant Winburn went forward to pass the word along. As he did so, a shell exploded nearby. Private Gardner later reported that he saw Winburn wounded in the shoulder. Winburn was conscious and said, "I'm hit and do not feel good." That was the last report received of him. Initially declared missing, Horace Winburn was soon acknowledged to have been killed during the attack on Passchendaele. His body was never recovered, and today he is commemorated on the Menengate Memorial to the missing at Ypres. He had just turned 21 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who have died while serving in the First World War. A photograph of his name listed on the Menengate Memorial is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Sergeant Horace Stewart Winburn, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They should grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, We will remember them. Lest we forget.
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening.